So we do have some Nxra news for you. It is fresh, and let's go ahead and get right into it. All right, so here it is. Nxra. Despite everything that happened, Nxra is building and looking forward. Props to the team, how they handled everything. Yes, so this was posted 16 hours ago. Let's pull this up. Alliance Block is entering into a strategic partnership with Mexc Global. Cool stuff. Enable Mexc to integrate Nxra ID's wallet and identity solutions and use, data tunnels, data infrastructure, and its services and offerings. There's a whole thing in regards to this about that particular partnership and so on. I'll just do it briefly. I don't want to make it super long, but we're going to pull this up. And they did do a Medium about this. And it was today, as you can see right here, March 21st. So here's the latest in regards to Alliance Block Nxra. So, it's in regards to data tunnel integration. And at the end of the day, I mean, think about some of the other projects we cover here, right? We obviously cover Jasmine. Key thing is data, right? So Alliance Block, data. My God, what is all this? So it says, you have this whole thing with Mexc. As we know, with Mexc, that particular exchange that uses, like it says, high performance trading technology, catering to more than 10 million users in 170 countries. I didn't know it was that high, to be honest. It says a multi-layer, multi-cluster system architecture features capable of such as spot and margin trading. You can do leveraging, management, and more. If you're wondering about this partnership and why it matters, here it is. So it says Mexc will integrate Nxra ID into services offered by Mexc. And Nxra ID is an identity verification platform. We kind of went into this. If you're new, I'll reiterate it. That enables companies to easily onboard users to Web3 using self-custodial or custodial wallets and integrate complex compliance workflows, all while preserving the security of user identities as assets. Possible integrations will explore using Nxra ID's features set to enable complex compliant workflows and even business rules in Mexc services while giving their users full control over their assets and identity information. Now, before I get more into this, I want to state this. Remember when Nxra ID was first introduced to us? When it was first introduced to us, some things that were mentioned was eventually we may see Nxra ID be used in, as like a form of a passport through multiple airports through the world, right? Especially like around maybe different parts of Europe, probably like Central Europe, Western Europe. I don't know about, Eastern Europe, right? But the key thing is, even if you only had like a couple countries and a few airports, I mean, are you kidding me? When we talk about NFTs and this whole concept of, NFTs, are we entering into the utility phase for NFTs? Here is that answer. If you have Alliance Block's Nxra ID kicking in an actual utility that is partnered up with some of the federal governments of various different countries, that is big in itself. Because again, if it's all about utility when it comes to your particular crypto asset, I think this is what really makes Alliance Block stand out. And I also want to point out this, when people still had faith in Alliance Block saying, you know what, there's so much more to this whole thing with Bonk DAO hack. I'm going to keep hanging on to it and so on. I'm glad that people did, because again, what's the key thing? The key thing is they have multiple layers of utility. When Tim Shea mentions that, Nxra is the younger cousin of Quant, to me, it's like, well, the reason why he's mentioning that is because, like Quant, you have, oh my gosh, just multiple layers of utility, probably more than anything out there, done through Quant's Overledger. But when you look more into Alliance Block, it's like they keep popping up with new partnerships. I mean, how about this, right? With all the bad news that recently happened, and I feel as though that we are almost 100% in our rear view, the whole thing that happened with ALBT, right? The V1 now to the V2 of Nxra. Here's a perfect example of why that is appearing to be more and more in the review. Why in the world would Mexc want to get on board with utilizing some of Alliance Block's utility if this was such a horrible project and you're just conning a bunch of people to invest into it? I don't think that's the case. The case is the utility all the way. So look at this. This partnership, if you're wondering, Max, get back to what we were talking about. All right, I will. This partnership will tap into the existing synergies between Alliance Block and Mexc Global to integrate and utilize data tunnel technology into possible future services and even solutions. Data Tunnel is a blockchain-powered data marketplace where consumers can monetize their data. Remember we talked about this before, I think a few days ago, right? Data monetization. You guys use Facebook. You guys use, obviously, crypto Twitter. A lot of you guys do, right? Or Twitter in general, or other social media outlets, whether it's, I don't know, some of these other particular ones, right? Like Instagram or whatever. The point is, even on Google, just doing basic searches, your phone is going to give you targeted ads because you technically agreed to it, right? In the fine print when you signed up for, I don't know, a Gmail account or you name it, right? Or your phone might just be default programmed to that. And you just think, well, that's no big deal. Those are my preloaded apps. But the point is, at some point, your preloaded apps, somebody had to accept it, whether it was you or whoever. So you're getting all these targeted ads. Wouldn't you love the idea that before everything took off from Web 2 to Web 3, that you would have had a say in where that data goes? And if anything, to be monetized on it? Now, I'm a content creator, right? Larry's a content creator. You guys watch a lot of different content creators, whether it's in crypto or whatever you're into. The goal is for them to be monetized. They become monetized. So they get paid. It's not a lot, depending on their platform, right? You get a little bit, right? But how would you like to get paid for, I don't know, being on Facebook, being on Twitter, being on whatever, right? You decide where your data goes. That's the main thing. Data Tunnel, like it says, is a blockchain-powered data marketplace where consumers monetize the data to subscribe or contribute to existing data sets, or combine and refine them to build more comprehensive ones. The Data Tunnel is the first step for Alliance Block building a global data economy, or data economy, I should say, like it says right here. I know that I'm about to mention Jasmine, but I want to mention it. So Jasmine is data democratization, but the key thing is that is a different utility layer. Yes, it's for Jasmine, but the key thing is it's a utility layer for data. Just like what you see here with data tunnel technology, it's a different utility layer, but for the Alliance Block project. It's a first step, like it mentions, into building a global data, I'm just going to say economy, leveraging decentralized technology to provide on-chain and off-chain data that multiple industries, including cryptocurrency exchanges, can leverage. Think about how many times people say, can you leverage this in your crypto? Can you leverage that? And if so, what is it? And is it anything that stands out that makes sense? This makes sense. The example I gave you earlier about the whole thing with airports and whatnot makes sense. How is this going to make sense, though, with Mexc Global from exchange perspective? A little bit more in regards to that. So this quote comes from Mexc. They're excited to, or I should say Alliance Block, they're excited to work with Mexc Global to explore possible ways they can leverage the Nxra ID, basically, their wallet, and identify solutions through Nxra ID and data infrastructure through Data Tunnel into their offerings. Now, regards to Mexc, Mexc is one of the leading cryptocurrency exchanges globally. I think they're up there. You know what I mean? I'm not complaining about them. Alliance Block technology will boost their services and offerings for their users, said Mathis De Vries, founder and CTO of Alliance Block. Quote, Mexc is a strategic partner as we embrace compliant, decentralized solutions and pay the way for the new data economy. So, look at this region that we're talking about. With LCX, you have Monty Metzger. They're trying to be as compliant as you possibly can moving forward. Alliance Block trying to be, embrace compliancy, especially in decentralization, type of solutions to pave that way forward, right? The new data economy. But when we talk about compliancy, the next key thing is regulation. Let's talk about that real quick. Regulatory and compliance standards for blockchain and DeFi are quickly evolving, or worldwide, are necessary for greater technology adoption. Solutions like Nxra ID enables businesses to create complex compliance workflows for their platforms and services, and allows users to control custody of their assets and identity and information. Look what's mentioned here also. Complex and compliant workflows. I'll give a shout out to what Casper offers. So if you're into Casper, and again, shout out to CryptoSmith. With Casper, you do have those particular compliant workflows. And by the way, they're scalable. You know what I mean? So that's the key thing. The key thing is understanding the control and custody of what your assets for identity information. And if it's doing that job, all it's going to take is just to have a report going forward, like for instance, airports or other places where people come in, whether it's through ship. I don't know if that's still a thing. I guess it is. But whatever the case be, definitely any particular hub, whether it is an airport, whether it is a train station, whether, crossing the border through something, where you utilize these particular technologies through an actual utility, as you can see here for Nxra ID. It says in transition, or I should say, in addition, transparency built on decentralized ledger technology is a growing development area, not just in the space, but in multiple industries. So for people who are like, all right, Max, what if they get this done? You end up getting a couple, I don't know, I guess you could say contracts that will take Nxra's technology, implement it, use it. Is it one and done? Kind of like, let's be honest, our current driver's licenses? And that's a good question, but I don't think that's the case, because with a driver's license, that's through the old traditional method of, all right, like even our local law enforcement, that, say they're going to look somebody up with their driver's license. What's the utility that they're using? They have their own system, they pull it up, so on and so forth. How would you like the idea? We're talking about keeping things safe per countries. We don't want like terrorists, we don't want criminals and so on coming through, passing through our borders and so on. If you have a mechanism, and I want people to understand this a little bit more, if you have a mechanism like Nxra ID that is literally, I hate to use the term NFT because I think it's beyond that, but in reality, like this particular technology, whether it is an NFT based passport, right? But the key thing is, where is somebody's local government at the front door of the airport? I should call it the front door, but as soon as they pull it up in the system, noticing that it is on the blockchain, right? In this case, through an actual data tunnel, to me, that's big. Why is it so big? Well, again, there's a little bit more in regards to this. The reason why it's so big is because by leveraging an interoperable and blockchain-powered framework for publishing and monetizing data, this will allow industries, not necessarily just the airport, right, and businesses to tap into the power of data to improve their business workflows and enrich their service offerings by utilizing rich and comprehensive data. It's being transparent, analyzing the data, seeing what's there, how it benefits not just an airport, or it could be a particular, I don't know, it could be a particular business that could even be located at the airport, like the food court, you name it, right? Comprehensive data. Mexc Global, like it says, is a leading exchange, and as such is leading the industry in providing innovative solutions to its users. Alliance Block's partnership with Mexc will see the integration of Nxra ID and Data Tunnel into their solutions. It will further expand their goals, encouraging space adoption. Key thing, space adoption by providing compliant DeFi solutions and building the new data, I know they call it data economy, but I'm just going to call it data economy. I think moving forward, we talk about XDC when it comes to trade. All right. We talk about these particular assets. Are they backed by gold? But another thing I think we need to do more focus on, and I'm glad that we do cover a few projects that are data focused, obviously Nxra, obviously Jasmine. But the key thing, again, guys, right? Last week's topic, data. Moving forward, there's a lot of talk about the whole thing with data. And of course, there's more to it than all this that you see here, and you can take more of your own deep dive into it. But, this restores my faith like 100-fold when it comes to, hey, you know what? Man, maybe I should have pulled out of Alliance Block and sold for a loss. I put more into some of these other ones. No. This reinstills my faith in Nxra moving forward, especially with, Alliance Block. Here's the start, in my opinion, of more and more things to come. Because once they see that this is really going to work out for Mexc, then other ones will come on board. Again, when we talk about the utility being used, that should be the topic of the day. When people were like, oh, this whole thing with ISO, all making fun of this, nothing's going to happen, right? But the key thing moving forward is systems get upgraded, right? The utility, is it being used? Here is the answer. This is one example. Mexc will be using that utility. If a utility is being used in any particular crypto project, that should get you excited, because that leads to what? Upside potential. And of course, that's at the end of the day, that's why we're all into all this to begin with, right? We don't want to see utility. We don't want to see a great project not have utility being used. So if we're talking about adoption, I think this is a start. We'll see how this goes with Mexc. But I'm just being honest. I wouldn't be surprised if you see more and more of these popping off. We'll get around. People, be like, you know what? Alliance Block, man. They responded quickly to that problem with a solution. And they have solutions going forward for their utility.
Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you have not yet subscribed, do yourself a favor and subscribe for more information on the ISO 222 compliant tokens, and hit the notification bell to make sure that you are aware of the new videos when they come up. Max and I cover these ISOs, and we also have a live show every single night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you tune in for that. You won't want to miss it. Thanks again, and we will see you on the next video.